What's up, my friend? It's been a while since we chatted. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. A lot of stuff has been going on in my life, so it's good to be back where I belong.
So, Chels, you're ready to take on a title, man. You haven't fought in I think it's 3 years to this month. And your last fight
Yeah.
was at Combat Zone where you came away with a unanimous decision against a great opponent. Now you're coming back fighting for a title fight. What's been going on in these 3 years since last we seen you in that cage?
Well, COVID. I was supposed to fight for a title against Kari Hill for NEF, but then COVID happened and then it got canceled. And then I got out of the military. I was working a few jobs and I just like couldn't keep up with training and trying to pay the bills because training doesn't pay the bills. Um, so it was like kind of a hard time. I've like really dealt with some like mental health issues and everything and had to like take a step back and um, really like learn more about myself. But I made the decision to move to Maryland to be close to my family, and I hadn't lived close to family for almost 10 years because of the military. So coming back here is probably the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Excellent. Well, after you left, you were on a three-fight winning streak. Even your record, two KOs in them three fights on that streak. You mentioned you had another fight, another title fight. So you were on a roll. I mean, you were fighting a lot and you were winning. You were training all over the place. As far as the kind of the personal issues, was fighting have anything to do with what was going through that, all the pressure on you, to be a woman fighter in that cage?
Um, no, fighting really didn't have to do with like anything with like what I was dealing with. It was just I had a lot I basically went through like a identity crisis because the military was like the only thing that I knew in my adult life. So it was like, what am who am I? Like, what am I gonna do? And it kind of like really just like messed me up for a while. I was just like I just did not feel like myself. I felt really isolated when I was living in Maine. Um, and I just felt like very like alone. Um, so making the decision to move back to Maryland was one of the hardest decisions to make, but also at the same time, it's like easily the best decision that I've made. Um, Luckily, I got into a gym really fast because my youngest brother, who's 9, he trains at a gym, and then they um, got me in coaching little kids. It's Kojin Dojo in self defense, and they're super great. They're number 4 in the country for Muay Thai schools. So they're amazing. Matt Van Valkenburg is my new coach. He's amazing. He's super talented. He's very educated and like knowledgeable. I've also been cross training at our sister gym, Rising Tide in Columbia, Maryland, with Mike Stewart. He's a great coach. He's a great MMA coach. He's super knowledgeable as well. It's amazing, and like the amount of support that I've gotten since I've moved here has been like something that I could never repay to them. Like it's just amazing.
Excellent. Well, from the time off till you got into that gym and you started training, how long has it been? How long have you been kind of, on firing on all cylinders, getting ready to get back in that cage?
So I I moved here in June, and I believe it was July. I was asked if my coach Matt was like, "Do you want to do a smoker?" And I was like, "I'm like kind of heavy right now. I don't know if I can." Because this girl that the girl I was having the smoker with, um, she's little. She's like 115, 120, and I like jumped on the scale. It was like 139, and I was like, "Oh my god." And I hadn't checked my weight in a long time because I hadn't been fighting. I had no reason to. And I ended up cutting like 7 pounds in 3 days um, to do it. And we did our smoker, and it's not like a win lose thing. It was just like your friendly little competition. But it was just like, and then that like relit the fire. And like, I was like, I want to fight. And I was like, I told him, I was like, I want to fight in 6 months so then I could get into shape. I was vaping. I needed to quit vaping. I need to get that shit out of my system. Um, and and then Combat Zone, they reached out to me, and I put them in touch with my coach. And then my coach was like, they want to give you the title, like they want to give you the title fight. And I was like, let's do it.
Uh, Speaking about pressure, I mean, how you dealing with this? Is it excitement? Is there nerves involved? What's going on in your head getting back in there, coming back? I don't want to say home, but to a place that you lived for the past 10 years, and have a huge fan base here. What's that like going through your head coming back?
Honestly, when I first found out about the title, I almost shit my pants. I like literally um I was like oh my gosh, like I'm actually doing this. Like a lot of emotions went through. Like it just like it was like a huge like adrenaline dump. Like that's the best way I could describe it. I was like it was a lot. And I'm already super hypercritical of myself anyway. So like um I kind of like I have let the pressure get to me a little bit during camp, to be honest. But all in general, I trust my coaches and I trust everybody that's been a part of my camp, and I trust myself, and I know that I have the skill and I know I have the talent in order to beat this girl, and I know that I am I have the experience. I know what I'm doing. I just have to remember that. I just have to remember that like I'm a good fighter. Like and it's hard for me to say that. Like it's like, oh, like it's hard for me to say that like out loud, but like I have to admit that to myself.
As far as this girl, Autumn Newcomb, you're going to be fighting this title for. She's 2-1. She's very, very young. I imagine she can't be older than like 19, 20 years old. She fights out of a really, really good camp in Ascension. What do you know about her? And as far as seeing her, where do you think you can you kind of win this fight against her?
Um, so actually, her and I have very similar styles, which is a very interesting fight. She definitely likes she likes to bang, and um, she's a dog in the cage. Like I have a lot of respect for her. Like I've watched all her fights. Like I feel like every fighter watches their opponent's fights. Um, and yeah, she's a dog in the cage. Like we're very similar in fighting style, which was like kind of funny to watch. I was like, man, like we're kind of the same. Um, but honestly, I think it's gonna come down to technique. I feel like I'm way more technical than her, and I think that's going to um, be what gives me an edge in this.
Well, as far as getting back in that cage, even though you've been away a while and she's, been busy in the last year and a half or so, what do you think the homecoming is going to be like you? I would imagine you're going to be the crowd favorite because you are, closer and you have fought for Combat Zone before. I would think she is the outsider coming in. What do you think that atmosphere is going to be like that night?
I think it's gonna be crazy because I like I just left, and a lot of people didn't even know that I left. But coming back now, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be crazy, to be honest. Seeing everyone that I used to train with and people that know me from the fighting community, it's just gonna be insane. And definitely, I think that's also gonna be putting some pressure on her as well. Just like everyone knows who I am and everything, but also at the same time that could be motivation for her. Um, but who knows? I'm fully prepared for this fight. I feel very confident. Obviously, I'm a little bit nervous, but when it comes down to it, it's the nerves are a good thing, and having the people that I know around me is gonna be it doesn't feel real right now. It really doesn't feel real. Um, so I'm just really excited to show everyone how much I've grown as a fighter and how much I've grown as a person as well, and just be there and give you guys the best performance.
Last thing, Chelsea, social media. I know you have a huge Instagram page. Are you anywhere else we can get in touch with you?
Um, well, my Instagram is Chelsea Tucker MMA. I have a Facebook page that's I think it's Chelsea Charming Chelsea. I haven't really updated it a lot, but mainly the main way to get in touch with me is through Instagram.
Excellent. Well, Chelsea, anything else you want to say before I let you go? I mean, like I said, we're less than 2 weeks away from this title fight. Anything else you want to say?
Um, I also just want to give a shout out to um, my jiu-jitsu coach Dwayne Bowie and my wrestling coach Tim. I can't pronounce his last name. It's a really long Italian last name. It's like Gramiacci or something like that.
Close
I
enough.
don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's Tim G. We're just gonna go with that. Um, they've really helped me out this camp as well. And also New England, I'm coming back, baby.
And we can't wait. We cannot wait.